When it was announced that Akshay Kumar will be featuring in a film on the life of Prithviraj Chauhan, I was genuinely curious and excited because it made me hopeful of two things. One, that it will compel the actor to completely invest and transform himself as an actor for such a memorable figure in Indian history, and two, we would get the writing and storytelling of Chandraprakash Dviwedi, glimpses of which we vividly remember as he donned the role of Chanakya in the early 90s on TV. It seems like I will only be promised the latter. The reason for my skepticism or many people's apprehension towards the teaser of Prithviraj is because of the sheer volume of work that Akshay Kumar does and whether it really extracts the best out of him. Spreading yourself too thin can also hamper the craft that you're working on. And when it comes to projects such as Prithviraj that demands a completely immersive experience from an actor, audiences are noticing and even concluding that it seems like one cash grab project to the next for the actor. Before I get into the craft and why people might be reaching a saturation point with Akshay Kumar featuring in probably a role in every 3 months, I want to get the positives out of the way from the teaser. First of all, I think everyone will concur that the background score composed by Shankar Ehsaan Loy was the highlight of the teaser. When we are thinking about historical period films like Tanaji and Padmavat, the musical tunes that enhance the sequences are still remembered by many. Be it Sachet Parampara's Ghamand Kar Tanaji or Sanjay Leela Bansali's Rani Sa that especially kicked in the concluding moments of the film. I still get goosebumps thinking about the theatre experience. What seems to be a guarantee is that the legendary trio will provide a feast for our ears. I'm glad to see Sonu Sood in a historical period film. While he was going to feature in Kangana Ranaut's Manikarnika, which eventually he walked out of due to creative differences, it's great to see the talented actor be by Prithviraj's side playing the role of Chand Bardai, who composed Prithviraj Raso. I think the one thing I'm genuinely most excited for is the source material and whether a creator like Chandraprakash Dviwedi would do justice to the epic. I'm curious on which version of the storyline the film will explore, as there are several adaptations on how history transpired. Accounts noting that clashes between Mohammad Ghori and Prithviraj were only 2, whereas some state that the number of conflicts range from 14 to 22. Irrespective, I assume that the film will focus on the rise in power of the young king, the internal conflict within the subcontinent among other kingdoms, the marriage with Sanyogita, the daughter of the Raja of Kannauj, and finally the two significant battles against Mohammad Ghori and what transpired as its aftermath. If you are really interested in knowing about the final battle, I would highly recommend you check out the video by History Marsh on YouTube that has assisted the storytelling with great detailed animation. I also have to say that the costumes in the teaser look absolutely immaculate. There is a sense of detailing that has gone into every character's distinct look which cannot be debated. I also like the fact that the teaser did not showcase the antagonist and the creative route that the makers have taken with Manav Vij, who will play Mohammad Ghori. It keeps the basic premise and surprises still just for the theatre experience. I hope they don't explore too much with the trailer. Let me also know in the comments below what you liked and disliked about the teaser. Now, what are the problems or the pet peeves that I have about the teaser? Number one, I want to say that why is it that whenever a historical period film is being made that the color palette of the movie instantly transforms into a sepia-like tone? What happens with such a visual appeal is that films start looking like different versions of the same universe like Bahubali, Bajirao Mastani or Padmavat. The browns, yellows and greys become prominent and we are told to immediately understand that it's representative of history. I also wondered whether we are reaching a sense of an overkill with Sanjay Dutt featuring in historical films. The man and his look comes across as extremely regal, but I wonder with films like Bhuj, Panipat, Shamshera later and now this, whether all would get lost in the same sauce and not really stand out as one prominent thing. This is a man that did Kancha Cheena so brilliantly and I wouldn't want him to get lost in the process of again spreading himself too thin in quick succession. The age difference between stars and their female co-stars just widens with this film, with a 54-year-old Akshay Kumar getting married to Manushi Chillard who is 24. A 30-year-old age difference is staggering but not surprising. I don't think the glaring issue is going to get resolved anytime soon, while our stars are still attempting to be young while obviously having aged past their prime to romance women in their mid-20s. The last sequence of Akshay Kumar picking up Manushi with one hand definitely did not come across as heroic but was rather over the top. Something that audiences are really scared for with this film, but I still have faith in a writer like Chandraprakash Dviwedi. If you remember from the year 2006 to 2009, there was a very popular TV show by the name of Dharti Ka Veer Yodha Prithviraj Chauhan, in which a young Raj Tokus played the title role. A young-looking face with long hair, the child star did a brilliant job in portraying the role of the legendary and brave figure from Indian history that attempted to protect the Indian subcontinent from invaders. It is concluded from history, or at least when it comes to the ballpark, that Prithviraj ascended to the throne while he was around 11 years old and was martyred around the age of 26. So what anyone would conclude is that for a role that demands actors to be of a particular age demographic, you will either cast it for the same or attempt at recreating the same age bracket. As Akshay Kumar is a star and the project has been formulated keeping him in mind, there has to be at least an attempt by the actor to fit the period and age bracket in which the character is set. From the teaser, it seems like there has been minimum effort done by the actor to get into the skin of the character, sheerly from an external point of view. He dons the same mustache and short hair that doesn't really change the look of how people have seen the actor in several other films. I think where the actor does a disservice to himself, and I fear that this might become a slippery slope, is that his appearances now just seem like projects he wants to get done with. Now stories only float around of how fast Akshay Kumar has completed films, making people think whether he is actually giving everything to his roles or not. Let me know whether you also feel the same for the actor like Akshay Kumar, who is doing so many projects back to back. If the game is money making, then the actor is a master at it, but some types of roles require an investment of time and effort no matter how big of a star you are. No matter what you may think about Salman Khan, there is a genuine appreciation by the masses and critics when he does make the effort. But when roles just seem like a walk in the park and come across as versions of the same, where you can see the individual more than the character, there comes a point of exhaustion where the audience just demands more. And I fear that with Akshay Kumar films, audiences are thinking the same. I'm not going to be talking about alternative choices that would have been better, like Shahid Kapoor, Ranveer Singh, Randeep Hooda, or Vicky Kaushal, as projects around stars like Akshay are again designed keeping him in mind and the commercial viability that he promises. But the least we can expect is a sense of absolute commitment to the role, so much so that it's entrenched in people's memory. The most effective thing that an actor can do is if his characters are remembered more than the individual himself. The star system may work for some films where you just play to the gallery, but with historical epics, there needs to be an absolute devotion to the world and storyline, rather than it just being another project that is completed in a few days. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about the teaser. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.